Once you get all the way through the story, that's understandable.
That is true.
Well, so that's what he does, and I wish he'd go out there and meditate some more, because I'd like to do some more of these games. Because I actually enjoyed playing Ziggy. He was one of my favorite characters to do, because he's kind of like RoboCop, you know. His family gets killed, and he's
Cyborg.
yeah, he's a cyborg, but he's the fun of playing him as an actor is that he's got dimension and levels, and there's a lot of pathos to his character, and so as an actor, he's a lot of fun to play. And you know, I enjoyed playing him. I was kind of hoping they would do some more of those. So who knows? You know, I mean, stranger things have happened. You know, it's like every once in a while I'll get a call. It's like I'm on Bleach in Naruto, and it's like, you know, every 3 years they'll call me in, come in, and I said, "Is this show still on the air?" You know? And it's like,
I don't even see Naruto anymore.
yeah, it's like, you know, it's like, okay, and, you know, your character came back, you know, so, you know. So that's what, you know, it's kind of weird. You never know. You never know. And I get calls all the time. It's kind of crazy. And it's the crazy part about the business for me now is people, they'll call you to do like a major thing, like at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, say, "Can you be in the studio tomorrow at 9 in the morning?" And it's like, "No, I'm booked." You know, it's like, "Well, we need you for this thing." It's like, "Well, maybe you should have called me. Give me more than, you know, 4 hours notice." You know, so it's just kind of weird. And that's another thing that's happening a lot now, which is kind of driving me nuts. But you know, just trying to keep everything in balance. And, I'm working on this is kind of a crazy project, but it's, you know, it's tough because the guy didn't give me enough time. This is the clients. When you work for these clients, they're all kind of insane, and they want everything yesterday, and they want it perfect, and they want to pay 3 cents. So you know, it's kind of a tough thing. So you just kind of have to balance everything out. I'm trying to finish. I'm writing this thing even as I'm doing this, and I had these other projects I'm directing, and another film that I was directing the ADR on came back, and we have to do some other stuff on that. So just all this crazy stuff is happening all the time, and working on games. You know, I was just mentioned I directed the biggest game. This is about new stuff that's coming out. I directed the biggest game that Warner Brothers has ever done. And James Bond's calling me. Anyway, so I was very, very happy to have been picked for that. That was like a big deal, and I'm told there was going to be more of that. So I'm very, very happy about that. And that was very cool. I got to work 10 weeks on the lot there and do it at ADR one where they record all the big films and, you know, the TV shows. So that was really fun. And that's that. So and. You know, the big thing for me was doing the Joker, getting into that thing. That was really cool to be able to do that character. And, you know, it's just gotten better and better and better. So now I've done him 3 times in another game that I can't talk about. But he just came out in Injustice, and that game's doing really, really well.
So you are going to be the Joker in something coming up.
Yeah, something coming up, but probably not the thing you're thinking of.
I don't think it's Archie Boy.
Oh, no.
No, that's Troy Baker.
Yeah, it is Troy, and actually,
Yeah, it is.
Cool.
the
job.
Arkham Origins, the game you're talking about, is a prequel
Yeah.
to Arkham Asylum, and so everybody's really young in that. They're all starting out. Batman's starting out, Joker's starting out, so they're all just becoming these characters. So they wanted young guys to do it. So that's what happened with that. But there's other stuff that's happening, and you know, I am doing them in another game, which I can't talk about. It was kind of weird. I went to E3. Do you guys know what that is? E3?
Yes, everybody knows what E3 is.
So I went to E3, and I went over to Warner Brothers, and it was like I was in every single game they had there. I mean, it was really cool. So that was kind of cool. I was kind of excited about that. And then I'm Gaius in the new Final Fantasy, so that's kind of cool. I can finally talk about that.
Wait, which one?
It's a new one. It's 14, I think. It's the online.
Realm
It's the online
Reborn.
one. So that was kind of cool, and I can talk about that. I can talk about that for like ever. And then,
Oh, that one's a good. I played the closed beta. It was awesome.
yeah, and he's a cool looking character too. So that's fun. I get I get to do a lot of really fun characters and do that. So, and have opera singers perform next to me.
I'll be back there.
I have no idea where that sound is coming
It's in the video camera.
It's coming out of my
from. Oh,
head.
yeah, there's
I didn't want to. Anyway, if you guys have any questions for me, yes.
I can. So like, the characters you play, do you ever lean towards characters like certain qualities, traits that you want to be, maybe, when you're, going through the roles? You just kind of go for it.
Well, I get asked to audition for characters, because people think of me for certain something. They think, for some reason they look at the character, they think of me. And so that's basically what it is. And you go and you try to do the best you can for that character. It's not like you get to choose the characters, and like I said, I've been very, very lucky in that I've been able to play a wide variety of characters, and that's really fortunate because there was a period when I was basically first starting out. I was like Steve, basically. They had my regular voice and they had it in their head, and they basically wanted me to play it. They want everyone to sound like Bateau, And it's like it's great. I have nothing against it. It's wonderful, but it's also fun to play these completely different characters that sound nothing like me. For me, that's really kind of fun. And to have people come up and say, "Oh my God, I had no idea that was you. It doesn't sound anything like you." And I love hearing that. So, I go in and I audition and I basically see a picture, and then this, like the voice we were talking about, the voice just comes out of me, And I've been doing this a long time now, so it just kind of happens, Or sometimes you'll see a picture, sometimes you'll read a description of the character. So you have to kind of basically whip something up and come up with a character. But it has to be, no matter how big or fantastical it is, it has to have some basis in reality and sound like a real character. So that's sometimes the trick. Do you have a question or are you scratching your head?
Well, I scratched my head, but what character can you talk about that you're most excited is coming up?
Well, the Joker I'm very excited about, and I just mentioned guys, it's kind of cool I can talk about him. I'm trying to think of what else that I did. I'm hoping he'll come back for season 2 in Legend of Korra. I'm on Nickelodeon, I play the chief of police, icon, worst chief ever. And, it's just, I love to do more and more of that kind of stuff. That was just great, being able to do original animation with an incredible cast. We had J.K. Simmons, who's an amazing actor, and people like that, work with those guys, and have Andrea Romano, who's a wonderful director. To work with people like that is just great. You really feel like you're playing with the all-stars. So that's kind of cool, and I want to do more of that kind of stuff, and I want to do more of the stuff like Steve was talking about, with big bank jobs. I had a bank job like that. I actually got cast in. And it was for some bank in the Midwest, and they loved me. And I did it one spot for them. They were hoping it would develop into a huge campaign, which it didn't. But it was a very cool spot. It was really nice to be able to do just the one spot. Any questions, Jeff?
Out of curiosity, between Joker and Bob,
Who would win?
there's that.
Who would win?
Which will probably be one of your, the iconic and more standard lines you have.
Of Joker or Bateau or, I don't know. It's, I remember certain lines. I mean, there's one from Bateau that I love that it was in the first movie and it was, he's talking to this guy and he's lost his mind, he's basically, his mind's been scrambled and it's in the movie, it's the first one. And Bateau says, "You stupid dickhead, you don't even know your own name." And I just thought that was a great line. I thought that was very cool, very cool movie. And, the thing with Bateau, which was kind of interesting, was they had the movie and then they got the series. Well, I found out about the series and I thought, this is great, I'm going to be in the series. Well, they called me up one day and they said, we're doing the series, can you come in and audition for the part of Bateau? I thought, audition for I just did it in the movie. He goes, yeah, we want you to audition. There's like 200 guys there auditioning for this part. And I'm thinking, yeah, sure, I'll be there auditioning. And my yes. Because I'm going, So anyway, I went there. Thankfully, I got the job. But it was, it's weird. I mean, that's the business. I probably got the job because I sounded like the guy in the movie, But actually, they only kept 2 of us from the movie. It was and William Knight, who played Aramaki, and the rest of the people they recast. So I was very lucky that I got to be in the series, and that was very cool. So I was very happy about that. And I went on to play him in a couple series and all the movies and all the games, and so he's been a great character for me. You know, those characters that come back that people really love and relate to. It was a lot of fun. But I think they kind of screwed the whole thing up, to tell you the truth. But they're belly up now, so Bond I'm talking about, they're kind of gone. But they made, in my opinion, and I'm sorry if this is on YouTube, but in my opinion, they made some mistakes with these characters because they had a great brand and they kind of let it go. And I feel that way about some of these other companies, which I won't mention because if you do put this on YouTube, I will find you. You can put it on YouTube, I don't care. That's the thing about me. I'm really honest. I'll tell it like it is. And there's a couple of companies that I've worked with that have incredible characters, incredible shows, and they just don't, in my opinion, they don't really promote them the way they should be promoted, and they could be huge. So what are you gonna do? Yeah.
So you've noticed, especially 20 years ago, animated stuff, or especially the States wasn't that big.
Yeah.
Right? Has it been interesting watching this industry evolve into a nice?
It's pretty nuts because when I first started doing it, we did Robotech was one of the first ones. We actually did some stuff before that, but a lot of the stuff, we were actors, and basically these were just voice jobs to kind of get us by, And we would go late at night. We'd be working in studios like Harmony Gold and Sunset. And we'd be there at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, doing these anime things. And we're going, this Japanese animation stuff, which is, kind of weird, but it's kind of cool. And, and we're doing the stuff, and what the hell, it's a job. And then 10 years later, they called me for this Robotech convention, and they said, we want you to come and be a guest at Robotech convention. I said, Robotech? He said, yeah. I said, was I in that? He said, yeah, you played 3 of the lead characters. And I said, I did. He said, yeah, you played Ben Dixon, Lunk, and Grell. I said, I did. I said, can you send me the stuff, because it's been a while. It was 10 years, and I didn't really, I'd done a ton of stuff. And I said, let me look at it and see what it was. And then he showed it to me, and I said, oh yeah, okay, I remember. I went to this thing, and I remember there was Ben Dixon had a flap where he went like this, the flap went like that, and he had to laugh. So I came up with this thing because it fit the flap. So I did this at the panel, and they went insane. And they gave me a standing ovation. I'm going, oh my God, what the heck? It was so bizarre, and I had no idea. Then people, after the panel, came up to me and they go, you have no idea how this impacted my life, and I run home from school to watch this, and I joined the military because of this. And people were like going on and on and on about this show. And I'm going, oh my God, I had no idea this affected people like this. So that was kind of cool. And then years later, they brought me in to audition for Captain Vince Grant. It's actually 20 years later. And I went in there and I auditioned, and after the audition, Sue Blue, who was the co-director with me actually on the thing at the time, said, that was great, you sounded even better than you did it before. I said, I did it before. She said, yeah, you did it before, you played him in the Sentinels. I said, I did. She said, yeah. So anyway, the hell remembers. You gotta remember, we go in sometimes, we don't know what the show is, we go in and, so-and-so called you to be at the studio at, 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock or whatever it is. And you go in, you read the stuff, you sign the papers, and you leave, and you get a check. And that's basically the way it works. Sometimes the stuff sticks in your head, and you go, that was really a cool show. And sometimes it's a job. You go in and you do it, and you leave. You don't remember. I've done 400 characters, and I can't remember every single thing that I did. There's a few that stick out. And there's a few that I really like, that I went for, and there's a few that are iconic, like Joker and Raiden, and characters like that that really stick out, that are kind of cool characters. And of course, Bo. Which they asked me to do 5 times, and I turned it down 5 times. That's true. I did. I actually turned them down 5 times, and they kept having auditions. They couldn't find the guy they wanted. They really wanted me to do it. And I looked at the show and I go, this is ridiculous. It's such a silly show. But I finally gave in because I kept hiding in my refrigerator. So, Epcar, you gotta do it. You gotta do the show, Epcar, come on. Go to the bathroom and they'd be in the toilet. Epcar, do the show, for God's sakes, Epcar. So I finally said, okay, I'll do the show. I'm glad I did. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, you had a question.
switching from anime, going away from anime for a second, Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
What's it like playing playing Ansem and Xehanort in Kingdom Hearts?
It's a lot of fun. Now that's another interesting story how I got that, because Billy Zane was in the first game, and for whatever reason they didn't want him, or he was unavailable, or he wanted too much money, or he pooped in their salad. I'm not really sure what happened with that, but the way I got that job was the guy who does Ansem in Japan does the voice of Bateau. So the producers, the Japanese producers asked the Disney people, they said, who does the voice of Bateau in America? And they said, Richard Epcar. So they just hired me. I didn't have to audition, it was great. So I went in, and I didn't know anything about the character really. I didn't know anything about the game. I had never played it. I didn't know anything, what was going on with it. So you have to rely on the director, and the director didn't really, he didn't tell me that the fans really liked this character to be kind of vicious, and I was kind of soft in this because they kind of kept pulling me down. They made him kind of soft, and they kind of upset some of the fans. So when I found that out, I made him more vicious as we went along. But the first time I went in to do it, I would do a line, and the guy would come back. There was like 6 Japanese clients in the booth and 6 people from Disney in the booth. And I would do a line, and the engineer would come on and talk back and say, just a minute. And I could see these guys talking to themselves for like 5 minutes. And they come back and say, can you do that line a little slower? So I did the line a little slower. And they go, just a minute. And people talking amongst themselves for like 5 minutes. Can you do that line a little faster? This like went on all day, and I thought I was going to jump off a cliff. And then finally I went to the guy who was the engineer. We were on a break. And I said, how did Christopher Lee put up with this? He said, oh, they did it to him once. And he said, all right, I'm going to tell you how we're going to do this. I'm going to read the script from the top to the bottom, and then I'm going home. And I thought, how cool is that? I wish I could do that, but it was my first time. Now that I've done 6 of them, maybe I can do that now. They don't do that to me anymore. It was only the first one. But that was fun. It was great, and it's great to be part of that. It's a great series to be part of. And, I hope it goes on for a while. I'd love to keep playing him. He's a great character. A lot of fun. I think I have time for maybe one more. But yeah,
So, you do a lot of stuff.
I do.
How often do you get a chance to take a fan's perspective on the work that you do, actually get into the series and appreciate the rest of it?
It's very, very rare, just because I don't have the time, really, because I'm super busy all the time. It's really crazy. I was telling my wife today, I said, I've got to change some things because it's gotten really crazy. So I can't even keep up with it anymore. But, which is a good problem. Like, a lot of actors would say, oh God, I wish I had that problem, because it's good. I'm always working, I'm always busy, and it's what every actor hopes to do, but it can be overwhelming too. It's funny, people always say, do you play these games you're in? And the thing is, I kind of suck at it, to tell you the truth. I'm in Transformers, the War for Cybertron. I play Skywarp in that. And we went to one of the guy's studio who recorded it. He had this huge, big screen TV, and we were playing it on there, on this thing. And I don't know, do any of you guys play that game? You have. Well, in the beginning, you're supposed to get out of the cave and go on your mission, right?
I think so.
Okay. Well, I'm there for like an hour. I couldn't get out of the cave. I'm saying, okay, this is it. I kept crashing in the cave. I'd fall in the water, hit the ceiling, and explode. And I just couldn't. It was terrible. So I just said, okay, that's it. I'm done. My idea of a good game, I love the GoldenEye. I love that because you get to shoot everything. I like those games, but there's not a lot of talking in those games, so that's not good for me as an actor. But they're fun for me to play. Any other questions? Yes, you're always. Yeah, I feel like the auctioneer every time you do something.
I'm in control for that in auctions. I get really itchy.
I know, and then you wind up going, $10,000. What the hell?
It's just a pin.
I just had to scratch my nose. It's so bizarre when they auction.
Yeah.
All the signals. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you guys. Thank you for coming to this expansive. I didn't mention gynecologist once.